80. Two anonymous sources tell the AP many have been let into this country and given notices to appear within 60 days. ABC's Kenneth Moten has more from Del Rio.
We know that people are seeking asylum. They are making those claims. That process is playing out. But at this point, we don't have exact numbers because the DHS secretary was pressed on Capitol Hill yesterday by Republican senators about what are the exact numbers, who's been flown out of the country, who is still being processed. And DHS has not provided those numbers. The secretary still has not provided those numbers.
The Homeland Security Secretary tweeted overnight as well that Border Patrol agents seen on horseback rounding up migrants have been placed on administrative duties as officials investigate. President Biden holds a COVID summit with world leaders today. That is the FDA readies to authorize the Pfizer booster shot for those age 65 or over or at increased risk of catching COVID.
The vaccine development's critical as a race against the clock continues. The Delta variant is spreading. 10 states are now reporting a record number of hospitalizations, and 6 have 10% or less of their ICU beds available. Alabama reporting more deaths in 2020 than births for the first time in its history. Arizona, rural hospitals are losing patients due to the lack of resources.
ABC's Ike Gajachi. The Fed wraps up its latest meeting today. Here's ABC's Daria Albinger.
It's not just interest rates. Fed Chair Jerome Powell is expected to talk about in his post-meeting news conference. He's also likely to bring up when the central bank will begin to taper the stimulus programs it put into place to help the economy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Most economists are expecting Powell to say it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Former President Trump suing his niece Mary Trump and the New York Times over a 2018 story about the Trump family's wealth. You're listening to ABC News.
Tired of living paycheck to paycheck? What if it didn't take years or even months to dramatically improve your net worth? What if you could do it virtually overnight? I'm not talking about the lottery. I'm talking about proven financial secrets used by the mega rich to build their massive fortunes. Once only available to an exclusive club of billionaires, this secret is now, for the very first time, available to you. Any ordinary person can use this powerful information to build massive wealth. It's like a financial wormhole. You know, something that moves you from one side of the universe to the other in the blink of an eye. But in this case, it's moving you from barely paying your bills to financial freedom in a snap. Learn more at financialwormholes.com. Get off the paycheck-to-paycheck hamster wheel and start enjoying life like the mega rich. Go to financialwormholes.com. It costs you nothing, but it changes everything. Do it today, and tomorrow you could start living the good life. Financialwormholes.com. That's financialwormholes.com.
The search for Brian Laundrie, whose fiancée Gabby Petito died on their cross-country trip in Wyoming, continues. An autopsy has confirmed that the remains are Petito's and that the death of the 22-year-old has been ruled a homicide. Police have been looking for Laundrie in a 25,000-acre swamp preserve in Florida. Firefighters in California are still trying to gain ground on the wildfire threatening some of the biggest and oldest trees on Earth. The KNP complex fire has burned more than 25,000 acres and is still at 0% contained. Pope Francis joking that some of his fellow Catholics might not want him around. Here's ABC's Megan Williams in Rome.
The Pope jokingly said that staunch conservative Catholics probably wished he hadn't survived his colon operation this summer. He said he knew there were groups already strategizing for a next conclave to elect a new pope when he was hospitalized. The Pope said he personally may deserve attacks and insults, but he said the Catholic Church did not and called such attacks the work of the devil. The Pope mentioned one TV station in particular, though did not name it. Francis made the comments during a meeting with members of the Jesuit Catholic religious order during his trip to Slovakia last week. Comments now published. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
Looks like Macy's needs some holiday help. The retailer says it's looking to hire 76,000 people to staff up for the holidays. Positions need to be filled in stores across the country, as well as Macy's warehouses and call centers. This is ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. So how do you clean your nose? Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the best.
We're tracking a cold front that's going to move in and bring some strong storms into the afternoon and evening. We have a better chance of seeing some of that rain stick with us into tonight before clearing out tomorrow morning. Highs will reach the mid-70s and lower 80s. And because we're going to see a lot of rainfall, we also have to watch the potential for flooding. Again, tomorrow we're going to see a lot of sunshine with highs in the low to upper 70s, even lower 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And on Wednesday morning, we're starting with cloudy skies, and right now 67 degrees. And tonight looks like there is my forecast reading 20% chance of precipitation tonight. Lows around 50, wind gusting to 14 miles per hour. We're counting on there not being any rain tonight for the fair as we broadcast live from over there from 6 until 8 o'clock. Be sure to join us at the Colfax Free Fair this evening. Again, cloudy right now and 67 degrees. Now I have these death announcements. Dan Briscoe, 85, of Rutherfordton, died Monday at Hospice House of the Carolina Foothills. There will be a private family-only funeral service to honor Dan. There will be a committal service on Thursday, September the 23rd at 2 o'clock held in the prayer garden of Southern Baptist Church Cemetery. There will be a time after the committal service for the family to greet friends. All are welcome to attend. The family requests that all attending please wear masks. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of the arrangements for Dan Briscoe. Carol Dana Hodge, 57, of Rutherfordton, passed away Tuesday. Memorial services will be held 6 p.m. Wednesday, September 22nd at Fellowship Holiness Church. In Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Carol Dana Hodge. Ray Isidore Bailey Sr., 86, of Rutherfordton, passed away Tuesday, September 21st at Willow Ridge. Graveside services will be held 1 p.m. Friday, September the 24th at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church, Polk County Line Road, Rutherfordton. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Ray Isidore Bailey Sr. Eileen Dobbins Cooper, age 96, of Forest City, passed away Friday at her residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock today at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow in the First Baptist Church of Bostic Cemetery. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service entrusted with those arrangements for Eileen Dobbins Cooper. Becky Coffer Lauder, age 53, of Chesney, passed away Sunday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. A private graveside service will be conducted for the family, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Becky Coffey Lauder. Carol Lynn Upton Robinson passed away September 21st at Rutherford Regional after a hard-fought battle with COVID. A celebration of life will be conducted at a later date. The family will be gathered at 1580 Harris Henrietta Road, Forest City. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Carol Lynn Upton Robinson. Eva Marie Williams, infant child of Jennifer Gibson Jones and Corey Williams, passed away September 17th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Those arrangements still incomplete. And Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Eva Marie Williams. Benji L. Guffey, age 78, of Rutherfordton, passed away Saturday, September the 18th, at her home. There will be a private burial for Benji at Southern Baptist Church Cemetery, and Mike Behan's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of those arrangements for Benji L. Guffey. Cherie Monteith Spears Skidmore, 52, of Ellenboro, died Friday at Ruby Hospital, Morganton. The funeral will be conducted at 6 o'clock Saturday, September 25th, at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Burial will be private in the Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. Visitation will be from 4 until 5:45 Saturday at the funeral home prior to the service, and Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service, serving the family of Cherie Monteith Spears Skidmore. Georgia L. Willis Robbins, age 84, of Forest City, passed away Saturday, September the 18th, at Atrium Health Cleveland and Shelby. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Thursday, September 23rd at the Harrelson Funeral Home. Burial will follow in Sandy Run Baptist Church Cemetery. Family will receive friends from 1 until 3 prior to the service at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Georgia L. Willis Robbins.
They have helped thousands of unhappy timeshare owners over the past decade. Family-owned, their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. So please call for a no-obligation consultation. 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Wednesday, I am thinking about freedom and how many of us do not understand it. Here's my beef. Americans individually do not have a right to physically hurt other people. That is clear in criminal law. So what about a vaccine that is not taken? That situation could allow the unvaxxed person to hurt another American by spreading illness. The issue was decided in 1905. The case Jackson versus Massachusetts. It seemed then the government wanted everybody to take a vaccine for smallpox. Some resisted. The decision was essentially this, quote, "The Constitution rests upon the fundamental principle of a social contract that all Americans should be governed by certain laws for the protection of all the people." So, in 1905, you had to take the smallpox vaccine, and the Supreme Court upheld it. Is the situation not the same today with COVID? I think it is. Now this. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
It's Heidi Summers, health and wellness expert with your local health update. I get so many emails and calls about CBD, the incredible oil from the hemp plant that's being used to provide relief to millions for joint discomfort, inflammation, and nagging injuries. It's the most talked about alternative health breakthrough in years. The CBD product I always recommend comes from CBD Labs, the gold standard of CBD. CBD Labs oil goes to work fast to relieve your discomfort and deliver the results one thought nearly impossible without a prescription. This powerful oil is not marijuana and contains no THC, the ingredient that gets you high. Oh yeah, CBD Labs oil has also been used to help thousands get a great night's sleep. Don't be fooled by all the imitators. Call now and find out how to get a free bottle while supplies last.
To get your free bottle of CBD Labs CBD oil, call 800-650-9508. That's 800-650-9508. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-650-9508. 800-650-9508.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic oldies.
It was September 27, 1869. Wild Bill Hickok was the sheriff in Hays City, Kansas. Samuel Strawham and a half dozen teamsters came to town, got drunk, and started wrecking John Bitter's beer saloon. Hearing the ruckus, Wild Bill arrived at the saloon and ordered Samuel to give over his guns. Samuel laughed and drew his pistol. Wild Bill drew his 1851 Navy Colts and shot Samuel dead. Wild Bill Hickok was fearless, right? Well, not always. There were times when he went to bed as nervous as a cat in a room of rocking chairs. He would spread newspapers on the floor so he could hear anyone coming into the room. He would check all the locks and stayed out of line with the windows. He would awake a dozen times a night at the slightest noise. When Wild Bill entered a room, he would survey the place, noting everyone in the room. Then he would walk along the wall to wherever he was going. Anyone familiar with the death of Wild Bill knows he always sat at a gambling table with his back to the wall. That is until that day in Deadwood's number 10 saloon, when Wild Bill arrived to find Frank Massey sitting in his seat against the wall. Wild Bill asked for Frank's seat, but Frank laughed and said no one was going to shoot him in the back. I'm sure a bit embarrassed, Wild Bill relented and took the open seat, and we all know what happened next. An old West gunfighter said, "Courage is a mighty peculiar thing, and nobody's got it with him all the time. Even the bravest of men had their moments of weakness, and they still do." You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Put Jesse James Railroad Express on your lunch calendar. He has a menu chocked full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, or onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue, Ruthverton. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only. Hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Now it's 7:16 on this Hump Day Wednesday morning. Let's get started to find out what's been happening over the past 24 hours or so. And we're stopping first at the Sheriff's Department. And Deputy Brendel, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Hope you're doing well today.
Yes, sir. I'm doing great.
Good. What's on the report from the past 24 hours or so?
Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 150 calls, processed 5 arrests, and currently have 221 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Jessica Taylor Cooley, 28-year-old white female of Rutherford, charged with 1 count of misdemeanor larceny. No bond given there. We have a Jason Lee Airwood, 43-year-old white male of Spindale, charged with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $500 bond on that. We have a Ashley Nicole Riddle Hoover, 32-year-old white female of Bowling Springs, South Carolina, charged with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $2,000 secured bond. We have a Shaderick Dion Hines, 41-year-old black male of Spindale, charged with 1 count of felony possession of methamphetamine, 1 count of possession of firearm by felon, and 1 count of possession of stolen firearm, given a $25,000 secure bond on that. We have a William Dale Evans, 46-year-old white male of Rutherford, charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $1,000 secure bond. We have a Sarah Elizabeth Gibson, 41-year-old white female of Limber Ridge, North Carolina, charged with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $1,000 secure bond. Under our incident reports, we have a Rochelle Abbott of Main Street, Ellenborough, reported a breaking and entering into a motor vehicle and larceny from a motor vehicle. Numerous items taken out of that incident. We have a Larry Freshland of Lake Lure, Cedar Creek Road in Lake Lure, reported a breaking and entering and larceny. Numerous items taken out of that incident also. And we have a Jennifer Butler from Romney Campbell Road in Ellenborough, reported a felony larceny. Looks like some jewelry taken out of that incident. That'll be all we have this morning.
David Randall, thank you very much for that report. I appreciate it, and you go make it a safe day now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
19 past the hour of 7, 911. Communication calls. We'll find out about them in just a moment. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. 20 minutes after 7 now. Here's Kylie now with the report from 911 Communications Center. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. What's on your report?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 481 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 51 for EMS, 49 for rescue, 150 for the Sheriff's Office, 71 for Forest City, 4 for Lake Lure, 39 for Rutherfordton, 42 for Spindale. Cliffside responded to a residential fire alarm. Forest City responded to a residential fire alarm as well as an electrical fire. Lake Lure responded to a residential fire alarm, and Rutherfordton responded to a motor vehicle accident, and that's all we have.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful day.
And thank you. You too.
Bye-bye. That accounting, that forensic investigation that they can do for you over there is very fascinating to see how all of that is done. If you have any questions about anything that's happened in your accounts, please contact them and let them do some forensic work for you. You'll find them how interesting and how rewarding they can be for you.
Hey folks, you know, Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
And when you stop over there across the road, if you can't stop to see us, sort of toot at us as you pull out of the driveway. We'll know you're there. We'll know you're speaking to us. 22 now past the hour. Here is Ruby Taylor with the report from the Danieltown SDO Fire District. How you doing this morning, Ruby?
I'm doing okay.
Good. What's on your report?
Well, the fire department had a residential fire alarm. And on my birthday count, I got Cole Morgan and Connie Handelson having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. And the signs are in the head today and going to the neck tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your Wednesday. I'll see you next time.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Cloudy skies. It may get some more rain later today, possibly some thunder bumpers, but we're hoping it's going to go away and clearing out a little bit by tonight. We'll hope and see that's going to happen. Gary Wilson's up next. He's up in the Fairfield Mountains Fire District with our Wednesday morning report. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Doing well. You feeling good this morning?
Feeling pretty good for an old man.
You looking good?
I'm looking better all the time.
Now you're talking. I love to hear that positive talk.
There you go. Yeah, we're pretty quiet up here right now. I had a busy 24 hours for Bill Creek. Ran about 4 calls the last 24 hours. They had a couple of medical calls, a couple of fire alarms, and 3 in the road, and so they were busy there for most of the last 24 hours. We ran two calls for both fire alarms, and both turned out to be false alarms. So that was a good thing. And sitting on about 66 degrees this morning, and we've had a grand total of 3/4 of an inch since the rain started the day before yesterday. So not too bad so far. And none of the heavy stuff that they were calling for yet. Hope we won't get none today. We'll maybe slide by and not have to put up with any of that.
That would be great.
Yeah. And other than that, I think we're good to go up here for another day.
Appreciate it, Gary. Thanks so much. Be careful up there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, have a good one.
Bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. Let's go over to Boston now to get the Boston Fire District report with a new reporter we just added to the circuit this Monday morning and this third day on the air. DeVern Upton, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Jim?
How are you liking this radio experience?
I love it. Well, this morning it's cloudy over here in Boston. It's white. It's the last day of fall. We're supposed to get some cooler weather, 69 degrees. They had no fire calls, had 2 medical calls. And tomorrow, a Sacred Harvest mobile food truck will be at the Concord Baptist Church. Arrive at 8 o'clock, and the food will be distributed at 10. And don't forget to go by Boston Florist and get your fall wreaths. That's all I got.
All right, DeVern, thank you very much. You have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com. We get reports from time to time on our sponsors and advertisers, folks who utilize them, and we get good comments from back. Had a comment this morning left on my phone overnight. They used Immaculate Heating and Air, and they got great service from them and said this is a good company, and they're real pleased that they called them for their work that need done at their house with their air conditioner. So maybe you could call them too and find out how positive you get response back from them as well. Now let's head over toward the Hudlow Fire District. Bob Hodge, how are you doing?
We're doing just fine on this hump day morning.
A little cloudy and foggy over there, or is it sun shining?
Well, I hadn't saw that sunshine in a couple of days, but it's a little foggy and damp out here this morning. And look like if we get by today, though, we're going to have some nice weather the rest of the week. Feels like fall.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, it's looking be nice for the weekend. And Jim, with the fire department, we've answered a couple of medical calls overnight. And I want to say happy birthday to Jade Hodge this morning. And that's about it. Things are going along pretty good so far over here this morning there.
A lot of traffic on the road this morning?
Well, the logging trucks has done started running so this morning, going to the lumber plant over here. So they haul them logs down the road and shavings up the road.
They get started early too, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. But look like I don't know where to get all that wood logs sold. I don't know. Sometimes I guess about 25 loads of logs goes down the road every day. They're getting it up on the mountain somewhere, so looked like after a while they'd run out. Trees wouldn't be growing as fast as they're cutting it there. But
there must be a lot of beavers up that way chopping that wood
must be. Oh.
All right,
well,
Bob.
That's it up here this morning. And, Jim, you take care. You have a good day.
You too, Bob. Enjoy yourself, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
High school football Friday night coming our way. Brevard at RS Central. We'll have that countdown to kickoff at 7 o'clock and 7:30 kickoff, and we'll have that live for you right here on the radio. And Mr. Friday Night will be with us Friday morning to talk about the lineup for high school football in this area and the region and how it stands so far with wins and losses. Let's go over to Cherry Mountain Fire District now. And Sue Price, how you doing?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, good. Kind of cloudy over this way. I don't think it's raining right now, but I guess we'll get some more rain today. Hope it don't rain out the fair tonight.
I do too. I don't know about last night. It rained some overnight or early on in the evening. I'm not sure how it did, but they should have a good night tonight, and the rest of the week looks good for them.
That's good. Well, let's see. I have no calls from the fire department. Don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar or personal calendar. Nothing on Fairviews. First Broad has birthdays for Bobby Smith and Erica Hefner, so hope they'll both have a good day, and we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And I don't have any announcements so far. Hadn't had any call yet about the church service at Duncan's Creek. I'm not sure if they're going to have it this Sunday or not, but maybe I'll find out today and be able to tell you tomorrow. And as far as I know, I don't have any other announcements yet, so it's just quiet and calm over here looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Our quartet sang last night down in Gaffney. They were having revival, asked us to come and be the special music last night that we did, and the church was almost full, but the pastor and his wife were homesick with COVID.
Oh.
But the visiting evangelist was there and had a good service, but it's striking different people, but the church, they went on and had their service, and a lot of folks were not to. They went to, of course, they were praying for their pastor. Of course, he's going to be all right. But the pastor and wife had it, but other congregation members, they were okay and well.
Well, good.
You have a wonderful day over there.
You too, Jim.
See you now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. It's 7:33, 67 degrees, cloudy here in Rutherfordton, certainly in the foothills of western North Carolina.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Interesting news. Some of you will appreciate this. The two new laws in North Carolina will protect visitation and religious rights for patients and long-term care residents during emergencies. like the COVID-19 pandemic. House Bill 351, known as Clifford's Law, ensures nursing home and long-term care residents are allowed to visitor at least twice per month during declared disasters and emergencies. It is named for long-term nursing home resident Clifford Jernigan. His sister, who has visited him each week for 40 years, lost her visitation privilege due to COVID. Clifford's mental and physical health saw a severe decline because of lack of visitation and socialization that he received during the pandemic. So House Bill 447 is House Bill 351, known as Clifford's Law, has been enacted, and that allows more visitation in those rest homes. Now let's head up toward the Shingle Hollow domain and talk with Tina White. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good this morning. On this good Wednesday morning, it is 61 degrees on the porch, and I've got a dog that's driving me crazy this morning. I apologize.
Your dog wants to be on the radio. Let's let him talk.
Yes, I believe that's what it is. It's kind of cloudy and dreary up here this morning, but not raining right now. Both fire departments were quiet, and revival at White House Community Clubhouse is still going on tonight. Montford Coves Baptist Church will be leading and bringing the message. Starts at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night will be Brother Dwayne Wright. Friday night will be Bishop Henry Montgomery. That'll be at 7 p.m. each night. That's when it starts. And then on Saturday morning, the White House Community Clubhouse will have a buffet breakfast, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Of course, it is all you can eat. It's $6 for adults. From 6 to 12, $3. 5 and under free. And everyone's invited to that. And the proceeds go to the building fund. And Green Hill Baptist Church will be having a community yard sale. That's going to be October 16th from 8 to 12. And if you would like to have a table, you are welcome. Just contact Rosemary at 828-289-4885. And for birthdays, none of the churches have birthdays today, but on my personal calendar, I have quite a few. I have Mr. Ronnie King, Ann Hardy, Belinda Baker, Erica Geddes, and Erica Beatty, and Misty Smith. Oh, and Miss Lisa Cooper. And I hope all these have a great big birthday and celebrate big. And that's all I have for this morning.
Thanks so much, Tina. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I want to give a big shout-out to our listeners and watchers on our channel, www.wcb59.com. Those who watch online can look inside the Blue Room and see what's happening. We set that up for purposes so you can see our guests when I interview people, so you can see who that is. And in the meantime, you sort of see the back of my head and things that happen inside the Blue Room. Todd walks in from time to time. And so we have people walking in and out of the Blue Room. So if you're watching online, we thank you and appreciate it. I want to say hello to you and good morning to you. I believe we're going up to Union Mills now, I believe, in just a moment.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Upstate Union Mills is our next stop. That's where we'll find the Kelly Report, and Brenda Kelly's on the phone with me right now to give us an update. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning. How are you on this wet Wednesday morning, the first day of fall?
Oh, I'm excited about fall. Excited about being to Ellenboro Fair tonight to broadcast a couple of hours.
I hope it don't rain on you.
Well, we're anticipating that it'll stop raining before 6 o'clock, so we'll be just fine.
There you go.
We hope so anyway, but
yeah.
Rain never hurt anything on the golf course and at the fairs.
As long as it ain't lightning.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, wait. So you play golf if it rains, and you go to the fair if it rains.
That's exactly right. Sometimes on the golf course you get caught way off from any kind of shelter. You way on the other side somewhere. It starts raining, and you can't nothing to do but get wet. That's right. So you feel, once you're wet, you might as well keep playing, right? Unless it's
right.
lightning.
You might as well finish what you started.
That's right.
But we hope everybody's having a good day on this wet Wednesday. I've got 64 degrees on the front porch. Tina's cooler than me this morning. She had 61. So I went and checked it to make sure, and it's still 64 degrees. So
we're 68.
But we hope everybody's having a good day. And in ways of announcements, I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries. But the lunch at the Union Mills Clubhouse for Tuesday the 28th has been canceled due to COVID. And then on October the 1st, Randy Flack will be at the Union Mills Learning Center. The music begins at 7 p.m. A meal is available beginning at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. And other than that, I don't have nothing. So it's short, sweet, and quiet, cloudy and rainy. Well, it's not raining right now, but looks like it could just start any minute.
You got a puzzle ready to put together, or are you tired of that for a while?
Well, I just finished one it was a beautiful puzzle. My daughter got it for me. I finished it Sunday morning before I went to church, and it was a big old red bird, and it looked like it was sitting in a stained glass window. It was beautiful.
I bet that was
just
pretty.
Finished it. Yeah, I've got another one in yonder that I got to start. It's 1,000 piece, but I hadn't got this one, which is 500, and I just finished 1,000 piece last week or week before. I'm still doing puzzles.
That's good. Well, that keeps your mind alert, I guess.
Well, I reckon. I don't know.
That's a lady talked with a lady yesterday on the phone. She had a puzzle. She was talking about different things. She said, I had a puzzle, and I thought about bringing it to you. And I said, don't do that. I don't have the patience for it. But she said, I don't either. That's why I wanted to get rid of it. But I know somebody that has patience for it.
I don't let it whoop me. I say, I can get this done.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Some of them's hard. I tell you, you have to really study the pieces and the color on some of them have a page that goes with it that's blowed up where you can really see good, But sometimes all you got is just a picture on the, and I have done them where the picture wasn't even just a little old thing on the side. But I got her done.
Get her done.
I go by the color. Matt McKeithen told me years ago. He said, Brenda, you got the best eye for color. I said, that's because I was raised in an auto body shop. We had to match that paint. And he just laughed.
Come back to help you then over the years.
Yeah, it did.
All right, Brenda, thank you so much for your being there for us.
You go down there and see if Luther got filled up on the funnel cakes and hot dogs yesterday.
I hope they have some left for tonight.
They will.
I'll see you, Brenda.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye. Brenda Kelly from Union Mills, 42 past 7. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Let's head over toward Ellenboro now, where you can live and do without the things you have to have. And the man about town is Luther Gilligan. Good morning.
Good morning, and where the fair is.
How'd it go last night? Did it get rained out, or was everybody okay?
Everybody was okay. Whatever, it was a light crowd there, but hey, all the food was there.
Yeah?
That was the important thing.
You didn't finish off of the funnel case last night, did you? Some left for tonight?
Yeah, there'll be a few left for tonight.
Okay, just want to check.
Had some hot dogs, some barbecue, some corn on the cob, and French fries. The only thing is, Rural Town Club wasn't over there with the cakes this year. They missed that.
Oh, they're not coming?
I made up for it. They're not coming this year.
Oh, that's too bad.
It is. I don't like that. Miss that cake.
Well,
But everything's quiet down here this morning. Nothing going on. Quiet yesterday. Charlie Park didn't have anything all day yesterday, last night. He just went to the fair and had a good time. And nothing else happened down here, so you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
all right, I'll see you next time. Maybe we'll see you tonight over at the fair.
You might be up there.
All right, see you now.
Be there somewhere. Take care.
All right. That's Lucy Gilligan reporting from Ellenboro. And we'll be broadcasting from 6 until 8 o'clock tonight there down the exhibit hall area, down on the grounds there, where they have those hit-and-miss machines, engines going. And there where they do the live music, and that's where we'll be. So come on down by there and say howdy, y'all. Now it's time for birthdays and anniversaries for this Wednesday, the 22nd. Todd's kind of lonely out there, so give him a call and give him the birthday list, and we'll give you a big shout-out. 287-3356, 287-3356, birthdays and anniversaries for the 22nd of September.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Of course, you know about the delectable Granny Beach Daylight Donuts, but did you know they're opening early now, 6:30 in the mornings, to accommodate your hunger for delicious donuts? Stop by, pick up some to take to work with you, or eat on the way. You can sort of munch them up before you get to work if you want to, but they're open early for the Daylight Donuts and coffee. Also, remember this, that delicious Granny Beach Pizza Combo. You heard me right. Granny Beach Pizza Combo, you could choose from 13 different combinations. And the number to call is 286-9012, 286-9012. You can even call that number to order a dozen of those donuts to take to work with you. You can call them right now. They should be there ready to serve you. Delicious Granny Beach Daylight Donuts. All right, it's time to hit the theme, guys.
Happy birthday.
And we got birthdays to celebrate this morning. Jeff Brigman over in Shiloh, he's celebrating a birthday. Martha Humphreys over in Sandy Mush wants to wish her a happy. Donald and Glenda Jackson's anniversary today. And Ryan and Lindsay Wilson having an anniversary today on this 22nd as well. So happy birthday and happy anniversary. And thank you for letting us share in that with you. Big times, happy times for you. And we hope there are many, many more of them. Now, coming up in just a few moments, Keys to Confident Living. And then we'll take you down memory lane with some classic oldies, which we do every day, middays and afternoons and overnight. And we like to play the oldies music, and we'll be playing some of that to give you a feel of what it's like to stay tuned throughout the day on WCAB.
number of years ago, the Douglas Aircraft Company was competing with Boeing to sell Eastern Airlines his first big jets. Eddie Rickenbacker of World War II fame and then president of Eastern Airlines was receiving specifications and claims from the Boeing Company and Douglas Company for a new aircraft. The designs of the two companies were similar except in the area of noise suppression. Rickenbacker then gave Douglas one last chance to outpromise Boeing on this feature. After consulting with his engineers, Douglas reported that he didn't feel that he could make that promise. Rickenbacker replied, "I know you can't. I just wanted to see if you were still honest." In business, politics, and personal life, it is tempting to overpromise and underperform in order to appear better than we are. Maybe we hope people will not remember what we promised, or people will forgive us, or we have gotten to the point where it is just natural to make excuses for our failures to produce. However, the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible says, "It is better not to make a vow than to make one and not fulfill it." In God's eyes, it is better to tell the truth even if it means potentially losing a big contract. And this is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living. Scripture of these programs are sold in book form by calling 1-888-333-KEYS or online at www.keyministries.net.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic old.
The music's on us.
Where they'll decide whether to recommend the Pfizer booster shots to any or all of the following Americans: people over 65 or who have health conditions that put them at high risk, or frontline workers like nurses, doctors, police officers, and grocery store workers.
The approval coming as the U.S. records the highest number of weekly COVID deaths since March, nearly 2,000 a day. Thousands of migrants still on the border in Del Rio, Texas. The question is, are they being allowed to stay in the U.S.?
Despite Biden administration threats of immediate deportation for thousands of Haitian refugees at the southern border, some asylum seekers are being given notices to appear at an immigration office within 60 days and then being sent to El Paso, Laredo, or Tucson. The AP quotes immigration officials as saying that starting today, 7 daily flights will take immigrants from Del Rio to Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Search teams in Florida still looking for Brian Laundrie, fiancé of Gabby Petito, who died while they were traveling cross-country.
It's the finding so many were hoping wouldn't be. Remains found this weekend in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming are those of 22-year-old Gabby Petito. Final autopsy results are still pending. Petito was on a cross-country driving trip with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, when she went missing. Laundrie is now missing himself in Florida, though he's only considered a person of interest. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Federal Reserve Open Markets Committee wraps up its latest meeting today. Most economists expect it will leave interest rates alone. This is ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage. N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
In Washington, the House oversight passing a bill that would suspend the debt limit and fund the government into December. Without an agreement, the federal government will run out of money in just over a week. The bill, passing on a party line vote, faces a tougher battle in the Senate. One person won't have any money worries, though. A single winning ticket for a Mega Millions jackpot with $432 million sold at a pizza shop in New York City. So far, the winner has not come forward. Third day of protests in Australia over mandatory COVID vaccinations. ABC's Tom Rivers is at the foreign desk.
Undeterred, they march and they chant. Their message to the government, they will not comply. New rules specify that soon workers on construction sites will have to be vaccinated against COVID. Watching the unfolding events while on a trip to Washington, Prime Minister Scott Morrison.
The protest activity and what we've seen there, I think, is highly distressing, and that is not an appropriate response to trying to deal with an outbreak of this nature.
The government's Get Tough policy includes shutting down the industry for 2 weeks, followed by compliance checks. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the foreign desk.
As the UN General Assembly continues in New York, the Taliban wants to speak to the world. Currently scheduled to give an address on behalf of Afghanistan, the representative sent by the previous government. The Taliban now says since it has taken over, it should be allowed to send in a new ambassador. This is ABC News.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and the chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We're tracking showers and thunderstorms to really ramp up as the main cold front moves through as we head into this evening and tonight. We're going to see gradual clearing by tomorrow morning. A lot of sunshine will move in by tomorrow. Keep in mind that some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms today could bring some pockets of heavy rainfall. Flooding cannot be ruled out. Highs will reach the mid-70s and lower 80s today. Tomorrow, they'll top in the low to upper 70s and lower 80s. A meteorologist meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Would you like to have a beautiful weekend weather-wise? Well, congratulations. Looks like you're going to get your win. Friday, sunny with highs around 75. Actually starts tomorrow with sunny skies, highs around 74. Nighttime, listen to this temperature, 46 degrees at nighttime. Then on Friday, highs around 75 and 48 on Friday night. Saturday, mostly sunny, highs around 78 and 51 Friday night. And then Sunday, 79 with an overnight low, Sunday night 51. And then Monday, 80, warming up again. And Monday night, 53. And 81 again on Tuesday. But we've got a couple of cool nights. We have to bring in an extra blanket on Thursday night and Friday night, 46 and 48. Today is looking pretty good for us. We may get some noonish rain for early part of the afternoon, but we're hoping it's going to go away by fair time tonight. We'll be there broadcasting live and in living color from 6 until 8 o'clock this evening, talking with some folks and letting you know some of the exciting things happening at this Colfax Free Fair. They did not get to have it last year because of COVID. This year they are having it, thank goodness, and a lot of good things happening over at Ellenboro for this evening. So make your plans to come sometime this week. Again, right now it's 68 degrees here on the Morning Wake Up Call, broadcasting live from the Blue Room. 100.9 FM, 590 AM. We got news from here and there, including the Sheriff's Report, coming up.
You say hello every time you pick up your phone, but what else do you say hello to? With Bark Mobile, you can say hello to summer, to adventure, to doing what you love, because you're also saying hello to freedom, flexibility, and great deals. Like getting a free Moto G stylus when you switch for a limited time, $100 savings when you bring the device you already love, or 2 lines unlimited data for just $35 a month per line with AutoPay. Say hello to something new. It's just a phone call away with Bark Mobile. Bark Mobile, mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details. Visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
Excuse me, this coffee looks small.
That's our new large. The new large size is our old tall size, and the new tall is the old small.
So this is your small?
Nope, that's a new large, like you ordered.
Right.
These days, everything seems smaller. So we're going bigger with the Bigger Spin from the North Carolina Education Lottery. New scratch-offs with a chance at a live spin on the Bigger Spin prize wheel for 2 million big ones. And that's huge. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.62. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
I want to give a big shout out to those folks listening around the Chesney area, up and around Chesney. A lot of folks tune in up this way. We appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Now some news from here and there. Rutherford County is got this story out. Dr. Kevin Marino has joined Rutherford County as the interim director of the Department of Social Services. Dr. Marino attended RS Central High School and holds a bachelor's degree in human services and Bible from Montreat College, a master's degree in forensic psychology, and a doctor of public administration from Walden University. Kevin has a combined total of 15 years of North Carolina social services experience. Most recently, Kevin was the interim director at Transylvania County DSS, and prior experience includes social work program administrator in Henderson County, deputy director of social services in Montgomery County, and child welfare social worker in Transylvania County, North Carolina. Dr. Marino said it's a blessing and great opportunity to serve in my hometown community. I pray and hope that together we can be the best DSS department in the state of North Carolina. I have already met so many passionate community leaders and professionals. My team and I are ready to work hard and do our part to improve the health and safety of our community members. That's Dr. Kevin Marino, as interim director now of the Department of Social Services. Welcome aboard, Dr. Marino, and welcome to the area. Well, as you may have heard by now, maybe not, Tuesday, Governor Roy Cooper and North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Mandy K. Cohen appealed to church leaders for help with encouraging vaccinations. In an open letter to faith leaders, Cooper and Cohen expressed their gratitude for the faith community's support throughout the pandemic response and asked for their help reaching North Carolinians who have not yet been vaccinated. The letter outlines 3 actions that faith leaders can take, including directing their congregation and faith community to trustworthy sources about COVID-19 vaccines, serving as vaccine ambassadors, and hosting vaccination events. That's what they're asking the ministers and church leaders to do. Faith leaders from all religious backgrounds can be trusted figures in their community. Their word can go a long way in encouraging people to talk with doctors and understand that these vaccines are safe and effective. The North Carolina DHHS Healthier Together team is working with houses of worship to sponsor their own vaccine clinics. Cooper also highlighted a milestone reached this week in North Carolina's vaccination progress. 90% of North Carolinians aged 65 and older have now received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. To date, North Carolina has administered over 11 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, with 63% of the adult population fully vaccinated. 68% of adults have received at least one dose of the vaccine, including 90% of North Carolinians 65 and older. Rutherford remains among the state's counties where vaccinations are lagging. Well, the Spindale Fire Department will be replacing its air filling stations, according to an article in the Daily Courier. The equipment used to refill the firefighters' air packs, thanks to a grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The grant is for $46,895.24. The town will contribute $2,344.76. The total cost of the replacement equipment is $49,240. The Spindale Town Council agreed to the matching funds at its meeting Monday night. The fire department's current filling station is decades old, according to town manager Scott Weber, and so they're glad to be able to get this assistance from Homeland Security. Good news for some of you who have people in rest homes and in nursing centers. North Carolina House Republicans passed two laws that will protect visitation and religious rights for patients and long-term care residents during emergencies like the COVID-19 pandemic. House Bill 351 is known as Clifford's Law. Ensures nursing home and long-term care residents are allowed a visitor at least twice per month during declared disasters and emergencies. It is named for long-term nursing homes resident Clifford Jerrigan. His sister, who has visited him each week for 40 years, lost her visitation privileges due to COVID-19 restrictions. Clifford's mental health and physical health saw a severe decline because of the lack of visitation and socialization that he received during the pandemic. And that happens when folks don't have any contact with people they love, mentally and physically. They start going down many times. Representative Jimmy Dixon, Republican from Duplin County, who is the primary sponsor of House Bill 351, said, quote, "We have all heard the stories or experienced loved ones in long-term care who have suffered immensely due to isolation because of COVID-19 visitation restrictions. Clifford's Law will ensure families have access to their loved ones, which is vital to the mental health and well-being of long-term care residents." Meanwhile, House Bill 447, known as Jeff Reig Law, guarantees the right of patients to have a clergy member visit them in the hospital. It is named after Jeff Reig, who spent his final days in Greenville Hospital after being hit by a car. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, his family and pastor were restricted from visiting him. After Representative Keith Kidwell, Republican from Beaufort, had got involved, the hospital ultimately allowed the family and the pastor to visit him before he died. Representative Kidwell said, "This is a significant and meaningful piece of legislation that upholds religious freedoms and liberties of North Carolinians. I'm so sorry that the Reig family had to suffer through this, but I hope it is a comfort to know that Jeff was the inspiration for making this law happen." He final days in Greenville Hospital after being hit by a car, final days dying in the hospital, and his family couldn't even visit him. The pastor couldn't even visit him because of tight restrictions. Now, I understand the fear that people are living under, and I understand hospitals and administrators and rest home kind of people have to be careful about what they do, how open they can be. But the man was dying, and he needed his family, and he needed his pastor, but they couldn't go. But now after these bills are passed, it's going to be a little better for folks who long-term care and folks who are dying will have access to their family members. Thank you, North Carolina representatives, for realizing we're out here. 14 minutes after 8 o'clock, Sheriff's Report is coming up in just a few moments. This is a great story. I like this one. Many of you will, too. A 69-year-old Ohio woman used her Second Amendment rights on Sunday during a reported home invasion. Get the picture now. Here she is, 69 years old. Somebody's invading her home, breaking into her home. North Olmsted police said they responded to a home at about 11 p.m. Police said that a 21-year-old woman had forced her way into the home, according to WJW-TV, After she entered, she fought with a 72-year-old man, and during the struggle, the man's wife fired a gun and hit the alleged intruder. Police said the woman was hit in the chest. The suspect was later pronounced dead out of hospital. The owners of the home told police they did not know the intruder. Police have not released any names of those involved. In a 2019 piece, Amy Swever of the Heritage Foundation argued that across America, the Second Amendment has protected homeowners. The right to keep and bear arms is based on natural, immutable right to defend oneself and one's liberties from crime and tyranny, she wrote. Unfortunately, too many well-intentioned people today advocate severely restricting the ability of law-abiding Americans to defend themselves and others with the most effective firearm. What would have happened if this woman had not been able to use that gun, did not have the gun, somebody had taken it away from her, or she wasn't allowed to buy one, or didn't know how to use it? This intruder broke in, attacking the man. She would have attacked her, no doubt. Americans use guns in self-defense on far more occasions than criminals use them to commit crimes. Yet those defensive gun uses rarely receive the amount of attention given to criminal gun uses, she argued, calling everyday Americans who defend their homes unreported good guys using a gun. Most lawful gun owners understand the gravity of taking another human life, even in lawful self-defense. Nobody would want to do that. They pray the day never comes when they must rely on their Second Amendment rights to protect themselves or others, because it will likely be the hardest moment of their lives. I hope I never have to use mine, but I'm thankful that I have the privilege of having one, or two, or three, or four. 17 minutes after 8 o'clock. And let's do this, and then we'll have the sheriff's report, and we'll be back. Dr. Dewey Dettar is accepting patients at Medical Group of the Carolinas, Family Medicine, Rutherfordton. For Dr. Dettar, being a primary care doctor is more than testing patients, diagnosing ailments, and writing prescriptions. Relationships are the most important part of primary care, and Dr. Dettar is here for you, providing the care you need, when you need it, and it's about connecting the people he treats with the services they need. Now accepting new patients. Same-day appointments are available. Call 828-286-2302 or visit SpartanburgRegional.com for more information.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
And we're going to be broadcasting live from the grand opening of the new location of ISA coming up in a couple of weeks, and we'll tell you more about that as it gets closer. But please remember, we'll be out broadcasting live, celebrating the new location of ISA.
Saving money is easy when you shop at Jay's Discount Grocery. From snack foods to vegetables, fresh fruits to fresh cut meats, paper products, cleaning supplies, dog food, and so much more. You know, you just never know what you'll find at Jay's. So shop and save today. They're located at 671 Oak Street in Forest City, right beside the Hospice Resale Store. You know, when you shop at Jay's, you always walk out with money left over in your pocket.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Friends don't let friends tune to any other radio station. Good friends recommend WCAB. Shouldn't you be a good friend?
Absolutely. 19 past 8 o'clock. Here's a great story. People are beginning to come up, I think, and take hold of the situation and not being buffaloed by the fearmongers. Last week, school officials in Putnam County, Tennessee, were told that district employees were not allowed to lead students in prayer. That included not only teachers and staff, but also coaches of athletic teams. According to WZTV TV in Nashville, Americans United for Separation of Church and State complained about several instances of prayer and proselytizing at events at Cookeville and Upperman High Schools, both of which are in Putnam County School District. They complained, well, somebody wants to pray. We don't need to let them pray. Well, administrators from the school district contacted the school's attorney, who informed them that the law about cases such as this this one is clear. Courts have consistently ruled that prayer and proselytizing cannot be sponsored by schools or school personnel, the attorney said. Well, in a statement to WZTV, the district further explained its position on the matter. Quote, as a district, we absolutely understand the importance of prayer in the lives of our students, faculty, and staff members. He goes on to say, we support the right of students to participate in and lead spontaneous prayers. That right is and will continue to be protected. We also understand that faculty and staff members cannot lead or participate in the spontaneous student-led prayers. Well, some parents, of course, were irked by this, which they saw as a religious attack. Dustin Whitefield was one of those folks who was disgusted by this, and he and other parents decided to show support at Upperman's football game against Stone Memorial High School last Friday. Whitefield wrote to WZTV, said, we do realize this is a public school, but it has always been optional for players to pray and has been a voluntary event. Players that still want to pray will have to do it on their own. After the game, players and cheerleaders that chose to will be on the field praying on their own. A group of parents will be going out on the field to support them. We will join hands and encircle them from a distance as a sign of protection and solidarity in choosing to continue to pray. This is a parent-led event, and we are encouraging anyone that would like to show their support to please join us. That was a letter to WZTV. Upperman marched to a 27-9 victory in the game Friday night, but it was the post-game festivities that ended up making headlines. Local resident Bob Vick shared a photo on Facebook showing Upperman and Stone Memorial players leading fans in prayer on the field. He wrote, quote, Satan's power was defeated tonight as the threat of a legal action to forbid prayer after the game was overwhelmed by player-led prayer supported by parents and fans in solidarity in the overall field, he wrote. Congratulations to these folks who are willing to step up to the plate and be bold. The Sheriff's Report with Deputy Brandel is now coming in.
Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 150 calls, processed 5 arrests, and currently have 221 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Jessica Taylor Cooley, 28-year-old white female of Rutherford, charged with 1 count of misdemeanor larceny, no bond given there. We have a Jason Lee Airwood, 43-year-old white male of Spindale, charged with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $500 bond on that. We have a Ashley Nicole Riddle Hoover, 32-year-old white female of Bowling Springs, South Carolina, charged with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $2,000 secured bond. We have a Shaderick Dion Hines, 41-year-old black male of Spindale, charged with 1 count of felony possession of methamphetamine, 1 count of possession of firearm by felon, and 1 count of possession of stolen firearm, given a $25,000 secure bond on that. We have a William Dale Evans, 46-year-old white male of Rutherford, charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $1,000 secure bond. We have a Sarah Elizabeth Gibson, 41-year-old white female of Limber Ridge, North Carolina, charged with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, given a $1,000 secure bond. Under our incident reports, we have a Rochelle Abbott of Main Street, Ellenborough, reported a breaking and entering into a motor vehicle and larceny from a motor vehicle. Numerous items taken out of that incident. We have a Larry Freshland of Lake Lure, Cedar Creek Road in Lake Lure, reported a breaking and entering larceny. Numerous items taken out of that incident also. And we have a Jennifer Butler from Romney Campbell Road in Ellenborough reported a felony larceny. Looks like some jewelry taken out of that incident. That'll be all we have this morning.
Hopes dampened in a 6-2 loss to the Pirates. San Diego began the day 4 games behind St. Louis and are now 5 games behind. That after the San Francisco Giants beat the staggering Pods 6-5. LA beat Colorado 5-4 to stay 1 game behind the Giants in the NL West. Shohei Ohtani hit his 45th homer in the Angels' 10-5 loss to Houston. The Nats beat the Marlins, and the Tigers stalled the White Sox drive for the AL Central title, 5-3 that final. Before embarking on a 15-season NBA career, Duke sharpshooter J.J. Redick was the AP College Player of the Year.
Redick from way outside. Are you kidding? Oh, jeez. Redick's going to have to force it up at the buzzer. Got it. Are you kidding? A little wave to the crowd. He may have been waving goodbye to Florida State's chances.
On Tuesday, Redick waved goodbye to the game altogether, announcing his retirement on his podcast, The Old Man and the Three.
The last 30 years of basketball have been beyond my wildest dreams. After years of youth leagues, high school basketball, 4 years at Duke, and 15 years in the NBA, I'm retiring from the game that I love so much.
Redick averaged just under 13 points in 940 regular season games in the NBA, which he played in 6 different cities. This is NCN Sports.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops in 2020 and 2021. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
I got the vaccine to protect myself.
Because COVID-19 is still spreading.
All the patients I take care of with COVID-19 have one thing in common.
They have not gotten their vaccine.
The vaccines were proven safe and effective in clinical trials with thousands of people.
That's why I tell my friends and family to get theirs.
I'll take feeling achy for a day or two over going to the hospital or dying any day.
Don't wait.
Go to myspot.nc.gov
to get your free COVID vaccine.
Sponsored by NCDHHS.
Rookie Davis Mills will start at quarterback for the Houston Texans when they take on the Carolina Panthers Thursday night. Tyrod Taylor is out with a hamstring injury. Coach David Culley announced the decision yesterday, saying Taylor would be inactive. Mills is a third-round pick from Stanford for the 1-1 Texans. He took over Sunday when Taylor was injured and threw for 102 yards with a touchdown and 1 pick. In the midst of difficult negotiations for new collective bargaining agreements, Major League Baseball and its Players Association are scheduled to start a grievance hearing next Monday over the union's claim in the 2020 pandemic-affected season that it was too short. Martin Scheinman, who took over as baseball's impartial arbitrator after the club's fired Mark Irvings, will hear the case about the COVID-impacted season. If the union prevails, MLB may be liable for hundreds of millions in damages. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We're tracking showers and thunderstorms really ramp up as the main cold front moves through as we head into this evening and tonight. We're going to see gradual clearing by tomorrow morning. A lot of sunshine will move in by tomorrow. Keep in mind, some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms today could bring some pockets of heavy rainfall. Flooding cannot be ruled out. Highs will reach the mid-70s and lower 80s today. Tomorrow, they'll top in a low to upper 70s and lower 80s. And meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now we're cloudy here in the foothills and 68 degrees, warming up to about mostly high today around 77 and back down tonight to about where we are right now and low around 50, actually a little lower than we are right now. And the rest of the week is sunny skies and cooler temperatures at night. Again, right now 68 degrees. And you're listening to WCAB Rutherfordton, 100.9 FM, 590 AM. WCAB serving the foothills of the Carolinas. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program this morning is Brent and Mariana Cortez.
Good morning, Rutherford County. This is Brent and Mariana Cortez with you this morning, and we're so grateful to be here, and we're so excited to be here and share with you with what God's been showing us and God's been walking us through in these days. And these hours. We wanted to share about making the right choice, and we have a few examples in the Bible we'd like to share with you, because every day we make thousands of choices, whether we realize it or not. And are we making the right ones? Are we asking Jesus what choices to make? Because it all makes a difference this day and hour with everything that's going on and everything that's happening around us. We want to know, we don't want to be confused, and we want to know, are we making the right choice, and are we asking Jesus to help us make those choices?
I would like to talk to you today about Daniel. I work in healthcare, and we've been faced with such a trying time in our careers. It's been difficult. It's been difficult for the families, for the patients, for us as the providers. And I've been reading a lot about Daniel, and the Bible talks about the people of Judah being taken exile into captivity, into Babylon. And the king of Babylon had asked for the young man, the best looking young man, the wise ones, the ones without blemish, that could come in to the king's palace, and he wanted to impart into them their culture. He wanted them to learn all about Babylon, and he wanted them to be a part of their kingdom. How does that apply to us today? What do we want our children to be like? Do we want our children to be like this world that is decaying and going from bad to worse? And when they're taken into strange circumstances, how does that apply to us? Do we, when we face difficult things, when we face different things, do we ask God? Do we have the fear of God in our hearts of what God has taught us, that we should not go beyond what God has taught us, that this is the right path, this is not the right path, this is the right thing to do, this is not the right thing to do? And, Daniel, right in the first chapter of Daniel, it talks about he determined in his heart. It says, Daniel determined in his heart that he would not defile himself by eating his portion of the king's rich and dainty food, or by drinking the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the chief of the eunuchs that he might be allowed not to defile himself. And he was just a young man. And I think about how strong was the fear of God in his heart, that he could stand up to somebody high up in power and say, look, I cannot do this. God has told me not to do this. I would like to excuse myself. This is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. And God was so with him and his three friends. He chose not to contaminate himself, not to pollute himself, not to do what everybody else was doing just because it seemed the right thing to do. And he was not going to dishonor and be a disgrace to God. And I constantly check myself. Is that how I want to be every day? Is that when I'm faced with something difficult, whether it's a career choice, whether it's a relationship choice, whether it's a medical treatment choice, whether it's whatever it may be, whether it's my children, are we asking God, are we going back deep in our hearts and saying, God, what would you like me to do? What is your will in this situation? And after a while, Daniel first had asked for vegetables and drink, and then after a while, and just water to drink, not wine. And he was given a period of trial, and after that he looked better than the other men that had been eating off the king's dainty foods and his wine. Look how God was with him, because he stood with God, and he chose to stand up for his conviction and for what God had taught him throughout his childhood, through his parents, through whoever he was with. And then it talks about Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When the king Nebuchadnezzar had made a golden image, and he had made a decree that everybody in that kingdom should bow down and pay homage and worship that idol. But what happened to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? They would not bow down. When the music played, they stood up. They were high up in the government. They didn't think about what the others thought about them. They were strong in their conviction. They were strong in the commandments of God to the Israelites, in that they should not worship another God, any God besides their true God. And they answered the king. When he came to them, he gave him another chance. He said, "Is it true, O Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, that you are not going to pay homage to my image that I have built? Is it really true what I'm hearing about you? I expect you to do better than that." And is that what we hear these days when God has told us to not to do something? And those seductive spirits, everything comes at you not to do what God has told you. Do we have that deep faith in God, the trust and the conviction that we do not waver? We are immovable, unshakable in what God has said. And they answered the king and they said, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to answer you on this point. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to rescue us from this furnace of blazing fire, and he will rescue us from your hand. But even if he does not, O king," look how strong they were in their faith, their trust, and it didn't matter to them the outcome. "If God did not rescue them, let it be known to you, O king, that we're not going to serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." They knew the God that they served. They knew that God was able to rescue them. But yet, if God didn't see fit to rescue them, they were not changing their mind, because they had a deep devotion and love for God all the way through. It didn't matter if they faced death. Being thrown in the fiery furnace is not a pleasant thing, and it's not an easy choice to be faced with. But they chose God regardless of any outcome that they could have. And it keeps talking about Daniel. Then Daniel was a high up in the government then, and God placed him there because he walked blamelessly before God. He prayed to God 3 times a day. He was not ashamed of that. And they could not find fault with Daniel. They couldn't find it. So they saw fit to come after what they knew could get Daniel in trouble. And that was the praying that Daniel did to his God, his devotion, his pouring out his heart to God every day. And it said that Daniel sat by the same window, or by a window, and he prayed to God 3 times a day. And those people came to the king then and said, "King, you need to make a decree that nobody can pray to anyone except you." And the king didn't realize what was going on then, and he made the decree. And then they came to the king and said, "Daniel, your servant, is the one that prayed. He is found praying by that window to his God 3 times a day." And the king was disturbed, but it was too late then to change the decree. And so the king came to Daniel, and Daniel had no choice then. When the king came to him, even though the king felt sorry for the choice he had made, Daniel couldn't back up. Daniel was strong in God, even though he faced death, even though he faced being thrown in the lion's den. It didn't matter to him. So when they came to the den, the king came and cried with a voice of anguish. And the king said to Daniel, the following morning, the king went up. He couldn't sleep. He fasted. He was troubled because he knew he had done the wrong thing. But a lot of times we do the wrong thing. But thank God today we can turn to God and cry out to him for repentance. When we make the wrong choices, if we have conviction, let's stop. Let's take a minute and say, "Jesus, what is this fog and torment and that I feel? If I've done wrong, Jesus, please change my heart. Forgive me. Help me to stand. Help me to do what's right." And so the king came with a voice of anguish the next morning and cried out at to Daniel and said, "O Daniel, servant of the living God, is your God whom you serve continually able to deliver you from the lions?" And Daniel said to the king, "O king, live forever." That was a relief that he could cry out to God. And the king was relieved when he heard Daniel's voice. And he said, "My God has sent his angel and has shut the lions' mouths, so they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent and blameless before him, and also before you, O king. As you very well know, I have done no harm or wrong." Then the king was exceedingly glad and commanded that Daniel should be taken out of the lion's den. Daniel believed and trust in God all the way through. It's a difficult situation. It's a difficult day that we live in with different things we have to face. But are we trusting in God? Are we relying on God? Are we adhering to God all the more when we are faced in a hardship? And what are we willing to trade for our relationship with God? Is it a career? Is it money? Is it a house? Is it a car? What idol is it in our heart that's going to keep us from going to heaven? And working in healthcare with a lot of people losing their lives, what is it worth it when you're laying there and you have nobody with you, and you've spent your life in search of riches, in search of fame, in search of a career? And what do you have to stand up to God and say, "God, here's what I've done with my life. You've given me so much and I've served you. I've cried out to you." Or do we have anything to present to God when we'll face him on Judgment Day? Do we have the assurance in our hearts that we're crying out to him, that he can turn to us and say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Enter into my rest. Enter into peace." And we can have peace today when we know we're walking with God and we're crying out to him when we need something, when we are faced in a difficult time. What is it in our hearts that we're willing to give up and sell our soul? That it may seem pleasure, it may seem good, it may seem right now, it may seem the right path, but is it the path that God has planted and chosen for us before the foundation of this world? We need to turn our hearts to God all the more. We see the signs all around us. If Jesus comes back soon, we want to have our hearts ready. We want to be ready to face Judgment Day and have the assurance in our hearts that we're walking with Jesus, that we've done our best, that we have endeavored and cried out to God to be unshakable and unmovable by all the devil throws in our path. There is many examples in the Bible, and we want to follow those examples of people that went through hardship. They went through difficult times, but instead of turning out to be bitter, offended at God, they came out on the other side stronger, a shining light, brighter, to be examples for us today.
Yes, and making those decisions is very, very important, and making the right ones. And it's all are we listening to Jesus speak to us each day and as we walk through our day. And one example I want to share with you is about Joseph and how God spoke to him early on in his life, what was going to happen. And it ended up, he kept that word of God in his heart, and it ended up being fulfilled. And in Genesis 37, it says, "And he said to his brothers, 'Listen now, I pray you, this dream that I have dreamed. We brothers were binding sheaves in the field, and behold, my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about my sheaf and bowed down. And his brothers said to him, Shall you indeed reign over us? Or are you going to have us as your subjects and dominate us?' And they hated him all the more for his dreams and for what he said. And behold, Joseph dreamed another dream. And he said, I've dreamed another one. And this time, not only did the 11 stars, but also the sun and the moon bowed down and did reverence to me. And he told it to his father as well as his brothers. And his father rebuked him and says, "What are you meaning by this dream?" He said, "Shall I and your mother and your brothers actually come bow down ourselves to earth and do homage to you?" And this really made his brothers very envious of him and very, very jealous of what he said, because they realized that their father really loved him and showed partiality to him. And it made them all the more angry at him. And so one day his brothers went to go shepherd the sheep, and they had wandered very far from home. So Jacob sent Joseph to go find them. And as he found them, they conspired they wanted to get rid of him. And so they ended up throwing him in a pit, and one of the brothers had pity on him and didn't want him to die there. So they saw a band of people going down to Egypt, and they ended up selling them to him as a slave. And at every point, Joseph had a choice here. He knew he was in a bad situation, and he didn't know what to do. He knew what God had spoke to him, and that's all that could carry him through all this. And so they raised him up out of the pit. They sold him as a slave to this band of Egyptians, and then they ended up selling him to one of the officers of Pharaoh. And so when he was working there for the officer realized something special was about Joseph. There was something special that he recognized, because everything he did prospered, and everything he did was done very well. And that just showed me that it didn't matter what happened to Joseph or how his circumstances changed. He still maintained that relationship with Jesus and with God, and he still held on to the word of the Lord. And in chapter 39, Joseph was helping the officer of Pharaoh, and the officer's wife started trying to seduce him. And right there he had a choice. Was he going to be seduced by her, or was he going to stand for what the convictions he had in his heart? And we got to realize we're faced with that every day. Are we going to do something? At first, we may feel a conviction not to do something, but then the devil keeps coming to us over and over and over, every different angle. He may use our family members. He may use people at our job. He may use our classmates. And they come over and over, coming at us to try to seduce us and pull us away from that word that God spoke to our hearts, and make us make the wrong decisions. But he didn't let that seduction pull on him, and he did not be seduced by her. And so she ended up lying about him and to her husband, which was the officer. And so they had Joseph put in prison. And right there, how many of us has that happened to? Maybe you are in a physical prison, but how many of us are in a prison in our own hearts because we let circumstances do that to us, and we listened and took offense and let that happen to our own lives? But even in prison, God showed mercy to Joseph, and the prison guard realized there was something special about Joseph, and he put everybody in that section of the prison in Joseph's care, and he took care of all of them. And one day there was two more people that came into prison, and it was the butler and the baker for Pharaoh, who was the king of Egypt. And they woke up sad one day, and Joseph went to ask him, "Hey, what's going on? Why do you look this way?" And they both had dreamed a dream that was related to what their jobs were when they were helping Pharaoh. And the dream that the butler had was about serving Pharaoh again. And then the dream that the baker had was about not serving Pharaoh again. And he ended up, the birds ate the food that he had baked. And so Joseph was able to give them the interpretation and told the butler that he was going to be helping Pharaoh in 3 days, but the baker was going to end up dying. And so that's exactly what happened. But Joseph told the butler, remember me and put a good word in for me when you tell Pharaoh, because I helped you with this. But the butler didn't. Once the butler got out, he was excited about getting out, and he totally forgot about Joseph. And it said after 2 full years, Pharaoh had a dream. And so he told the butler, and then he told all of his wise men, and no one could figure out what the interpretation of the dream was. And so that's when the butler remembered what Joseph had done for him. And if you read over in Psalm 105, it says that Joseph's soul entered the iron in the prison when he had those shackles around his feet, and the word of the Lord proved and tested him during that time in prison. And according to history, he was in prison for quite a while, and about 10 years. And, I just thought that was a bad circumstance, but he still kept the word of the Lord, the dreams that God spoke to him when he told his brothers and his father. And he never let go of it, and he knew it was going to happen. And here he was in the prison. He didn't know. And how many of us would hold on to it through all of that? I know in my heart, I know I wouldn't. But I'm crying out to God that I would, and that I could stand. And we are standing. And so Pharaoh had this dream. And he said, behold, there came out of the Nile 7 well-favored cows, sleek, handsome, and fat, and they grazed in the reed grass of the pasture. And behold, 7 other cows came up after them, and they were gaunt and ugly, and they stood by the fat cows. And the ill-favored, gaunt, and ugly cows ate up the 7 fat cows. And then Pharaoh awoke. And then he fell back asleep, and behold, a second time 7 ears of grain came out of one stalk, and they were plump and healthy. And then 7 ears of thin and blighted grain sprouted and was parched by the east wind. And the 7 thin ears of grain devoured the 7 plump and fat ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And that really bothered him. He wanted to know what that was. And so the butler remembered who interpreted his dream, so he told Pharaoh that Joseph had interpreted his dream. And so Pharaoh called Joseph out of the prison, and he said, I have dreamed. He sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. But first Joseph shaved himself, changed his clothes, and made himself presentable, and then he came into Pharaoh's presence. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it. And I have heard it said of you that you can understand a dream and interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, it is not in me. God, not I, will give Pharaoh a favorable answer and interpret it. And right there it showed how much he trusted God with his life, and it didn't matter. Circumstances didn't move him. It didn't matter who it was, whether it was a servant, whether he was the king, who he was talking to. It didn't matter. He knew, he trusted God, and he trusted that God would speak, because that's what God had done at each point through all these difficult times in his life. And so Pharaoh explained the dreams to him. And so Joseph interpreted the dreams, and he said, God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. And he explained that there was going to be 7 years of good and plenty, and then 7 years of famine, and very difficult famine. And he told Pharaoh to seek out and provide a man of understanding, wise, and set him over the land to know how to govern and manage the crops for the next 7 years, so they would have food during the 7 years of famine and famine, where there would be no food growing. And so Pharaoh was like, the only person I know is you. You're the only one. And it seemed good to Pharaoh, and it seemed good to all the servants of Pharaoh. And he says, you have charge over all my house, and all my people shall be governed according to your word, with reverence, submission, and obedience. Only in matters of the throne will I be greater than you are. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his signet ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in official vestments of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And just look at what God did for Joseph right here. He went from being in the dungeon for 10 years, but he was still faithful even in that dungeon. He never let go of the word of God, and God brought him out. I mean, who would have ever thought being an inmate to being the governor of the land? But God knew that a long time ago, and Joseph never let it escape. So they had the 7 years of plenty, then they had the 7 years of famine. But during those 7 good years, they stored up all the extra grain they were making, and then as the famine hit the whole land during that last 7 years, that's when Joseph's family came down from Israel and came down to Egypt to find food. And then there it was. That's when God fulfilled those dreams that Joseph had when he was a young man. And Joseph remembered the dreams he had about his brothers, and he wept because he knew God did it. And a lot of us know the story from that point, where he had showed favor to his brother, and God took care of his whole family. His dad came and saw him, and he restored the whole situation. His brothers weren't envious of him. They had dropped all that offense, and it was a reunion of what God had done. And how many of us are facing these situations and circumstances in our lives today, and what are we doing about it? Are we just getting confused more and more, or are we locking our heart in and crying out to God for him to show us what to do, and for him to lead and direct and guide us each day? And that's what's going to make us through these times in our life, and this period of our life of all this chaos that we're seeing and all this confusion. And we're just so grateful that we could come and share with you today and be with you on this radio program. And we're here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 to 9 at WCAB, and you can watch the rest of our videos and all of our testimonies that are on that website at wordoffaithfellowship.org. And we thank you very much.